Thanks, everyone. Continue with Coach Blashill. Please let us know if you'd like to ask a question. Tech Golfin.
Bert is
Non-COVID illness.
I mean, it seemed like the end of practice there, he was pretty impassioned, and you made your point across. I mean, how important is tomorrow for you guys just to come back and get back to a certain level?
Well, it's important, but I think, to think that it'll just go smooth and everything will happen right. We'll score and not get scored on and win the hockey game is unrealistic. There's going to be ups and downs tomorrow night. We got to be able to handle it. And I think we've wilted the last two games we've gotten down, and you can't wilt when you get down. So, that's probably the biggest message.
Hey, Jeff, as far as the goaltending, where do you think the goaltending is right now? And you just want to see one of those two guys step up and grab control, sort of? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to judge the goaltending a whole bunch when you give up too many chances. So, certainly they are a factor in things, but we got to do a better job of putting them in position to be successful with our play.
Answer, Con.
Yeah, Jeff, I know you talked about making some tweaks before the Carolina game, but does it just come down to skating and effort more so than anything schematically as far as lowering the goals against?
Yeah, well, I think last night in the Florida game, those two games, I would say it's that exactly. It's compete, it's effort. To me, it wasn't necessarily I just think once we got down, we wilted, and again, you can't do that. You got to grind your way through, and you got to find a way to be mentally tough and keep grinding and keep yourself in a position to hopefully come back. So, schematics are schematics. Schematics don't. There isn't schematics. There isn't a D zone coverage that's going to prevent you from a net front battle. Every D zone coverage, you're going to end up with a net front battle. And when you have even numbers to their numbers and you lose those battles, I don't care what you do in D zone coverage, you're going to get scored on. You got to win those battles net front. You got to close on people fast. You got to have the puck a lot in order to not play defense as much. All those things. It starts with skating and working and competing.
Especially disappointing the way things have gone at home lately. Got off to a good start at home, but it seems like the last 15 games or so, it hasn't gone the same way.
Yeah, no, it's disappointing, especially the last few. That we haven't been good enough at home. You're gonna lose some games, but you can't lose them in the fashion that we lost the Toronto game or the game last night at home. So, I think we've wasted some good home crowds in the last little bit. We got to get back to finding a way to win games at home.
And the Tuesdays, you've been ruled out for tomorrow?
No.
Being St. James.
Yeah. How do you guys recapture some joy in
that's a good question. It's a balance. I don't know that my job in situations like this is to necessarily give the players the avenue for joy, as opposed to making sure we understand that that this isn't good enough. Certainly you want guys to want to come to the rink, and I get that, and enjoy the job they do, but part of that comes with responsibility, and you kind of earn that joy, I would say, by working, by competing, by being proud of the performance that you had. I think when we left Tampa, we were disappointed we didn't win, but I don't think anybody was. I think everybody was proud of the effort that we gave in the performance that we had. I think we were in position against one of the best teams in the league to win the hockey game on the road. We didn't win. When you play the way we did last night, it's hard to have any kind of joy, because we're in this to win, and when you don't win and you don't do it right, there's very little to hang your hat on.
You've talked in the past after tough losses. You and Steve have talked, and he said, well, you guys played hard. When it's in a situation like last night, can you share what are those conversations?
Well, again, we talked last night, talked this morning. I'm not going to go into our conversations necessarily. I don't think that's fair, nor do I think I need to do that. So, we've talked, and I think last night was pretty evident what anybody would have thought watching that game.
Just switching gears a little bit, Mark Stahl coming up on a big milestone. What has he meant to this team?
I think Mark's been a great pro. I think he's brought good leadership. I think he's brought size and strength on our back end that we haven't shown enough of. He wins battles. So I think he's been a good player for us and a great leader.
Max Bolton.
Dylan was saying last night, you felt like you guys kind of lost confidence on the Florida trip. When you have that, then you also have a game where you feel like you compete enough. How does that affect kind of how you go about the motivational stuff?
The reality and confidence is you have to earn it. You have to earn it with the way that you approach things. And it's not, I've talked about confidence lots up here for individual players and for teams, and it's fleeting and you can lose it, but there's no magic way to get confidence back. You have to work your way back into confidence, and you got to do it by doing things right. You have to do it by making sure that you earn it by how you approach every shift, how you approach every practice. And you got to have mental toughness. And, again, to think that tomorrow night is just going to go totally smooth, I think is foolish. I think there's going to be ups and downs, and we got to be able to handle that. And when you don't have confidence, you handle it less than when you do have confidence. So, but there's no magic to it. You just got to be mentally tough, bear down, and find a way to a better tomorrow.
Can you clarify with the Kaiser why Wade from the feet could be put on IR?
Well, I think first off, just in terms of waving them ultimately gives flexibility, and the minor injury has just been nagging, and so then he went on IR. I mean, that's all I got for you. Yep.
Daniela Bruce.
You're talking about how you have to approach things to earn the confidence and all of that. When you only have one practice in between a game like that, and you've got another tough opponent in Minnesota, and Mark Stahl talked about it being tough to come to work after a loss like that. How do you approach the practice? What was your approach today?
I think a practice today is all about making sure everybody understands on our team that last night wasn't good enough. And, there's certain areas that we emphasized. Net front battle would be one of them. Angling, making sure that we're harder to play against through taking away good ice would be one of them. But the biggest message would have been that it wasn't good enough, and we can't have that be our standard. We can't let that be okay. Some practices you're worried about energy for the next game. To be honest with you, we got to make sure that everybody understands that's not okay. That to me is the most important thing. And then our guys got to find a way to grind through any workload that we put them through today.
Carly Johnson.
Wild better paper or a better team than the Coyotes on paper, but how do you change the structure playing a team like the Wild when you come off a tough loss against the Coyotes?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about paper is I think every team in the National Hockey League can be a good team on any given night. And I think, Arizona's riding a fairly good high right now. I think they've won now 4 of the last 6, including the one against us. So, going back to confidence, sometimes teams come in and they're in a real confident spot. The Wild have been on a little bit of a grind. They had a good win last night. They're a really good team. We saw that in Minnesota, especially, up front, they got 3 lines that in different ways can really put pressure on you. But for me, it's less about what either the opponents are and more about what we do. And, when we've been good, we're on top of people. When we've been good, we don't give much space. When we've been good, we've played lots in the O zone. Part of that's getting the puck out of your end and getting it through the neutral zone. And so we got to make sure that we're on top of people, we're attacking them, and we're making them defend tomorrow night.
A couple practices under his belt. When do you expect we'll see Levy?
I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll make a decision for tomorrow at some point and go from there. Yep.
That's it for us today. Thanks, everyone.